morning. So this morning it is Wednesday the 9th of February. It is 25 to 10, but I wanted to do an LFD test on camera this morning because I think there seems to be a bit of confusion. I note that the Care Minister Gillian Keegan, MP for Chichester West Sussex, was stating that she was informed of her positive. So really, that the whole concept of an LFD is that they take 30 minutes to work and you can do them yourself, so you will get the result. So I have sanitized my area, I've sanitized my hands. Well, when I say sanitized, I've washed them with Hibi scrub and also sanitized to be extra careful. I'm in my private quarters, so I don't want to put on gloves because I don't want to waste stock, because we go through the stock very quickly and we don't get enough really from the PPE portal. So I'm just using the tests from the NHS. We get them delivered. I've got everything set up, so you will have a swab, the test itself. You will also have a little tube. Mine's in the nice little slot in the box, ready to go. And this liquid, the reason you utilize this liquid is it helps the paper of the test give the reaction. I've seen some people saying that water was testing positive. It doesn't test positive. All you've done is broken the test, basically. It needs this liquid to function. So I have been struggling a bit with vomiting and a gag reflex with my testing, so hopefully I'll be all right today. Also would like to highlight, from what I understand with Omicron, it is more detectable in the throat earlier than it is in the nose. In Care, we're doing throat and nasal, but I do understand there are some tests out there that are just nasal, in which case they're potentially unlikely to pick up Omicron. Sorry, just composing my throat. So I'm going to do a nice little cough. I'm going to try and get some fluids to the back of my throat. I'm going to be taking this. I don't have tonsils, but if I did have tonsils, I'm going to be trying to get this in that area on both sides for as long as I can to get as much potential viral load if I had any. So, oh God, I'm dying doing this on camera. I hope I don't gag. Okay. Oh gosh, sorry. I have a digestive illness and I've been struggling a bit with nausea. So I never used to have such a gag response, but lately I am. But I'm dedicated to safety and care. But anyway, so I've done my one side. I'm now going to try and do the other side. Bear with me. Oh. I think that's the best I could do for that side. So I've got a good amount from one side. I don't know why my right side triggers more. So I've done my throat area. I'm now going to be pushing it into my nasal passage as far as I can. So, well, as far as I can, as far as safely to do so. Don't damage yourself, but it does need to go quite back. I find it helpful to try and sort of push. So I'll be trying to get some content to test. A bit of an eye-watering one this morning. Right, done that side. Let's go for the next one. Oh. Right. So then, I mean, it's not as well. It's not about just shoving it in as quickly as you can. You want to sort of spend a bit of time there, both in the throat and in the nasal passage. So I'm now taking my swab, got my tube, the liquid's in there, don't know if you can see, and I'm going to be putting it in. And now your goal is to really make sure that that liquid is in good contact with the swab area. So I do a bit of twisting. I try and do it for about 30 seconds. And some of the twisting this side, don't know if you can see. And then personally, I try and use the staggered little marks here to try and make sure all liquid is remaining in here. So then you are going to close it. These new testing kits are a lot easier. We used to have a little bit more complex ones, but so now your tube is ready to go. You will be pouring it in. Let's see if I can get some light. This section, and this is your read section, and this is the section you use to register your test. If you have a smartphone, it will scan it for you, so you don't even have to put the code in. Also, you can register an account, which I do, so it makes it a lot easier to register tests, because we do it so often. All my details are registered, so I'm just clicking and confirming, really. Right, so now I've put all the liquid from this into the correct area on the testing kit piece. So it is it's almost 9:45. So I'm going to come back at 10:15, so that will give a 30 minutes. So it's a good time period to see if the test is positive or negative. So this morning I have been working in my room and I had a phone meeting, but I'm likely to leave my room at some point. So I do this so I have a correct read before I leave the room. That's the point of LFDs. Somebody else shouldn't be informing you of your LFD. The only test that should be informed to you is the PCR, and that's because it goes to a laboratory, so they need to do stuff their side and inform you. But the whole concept of LFDs are they're accessible and they are usable, so you can do your own read. It just takes 30 minutes. I will finish this shortly when I've got my result. Right, it's still Wednesday the 9th. I'm 15 minutes delayed, so my test, I did check it at 30 minutes, but I had a work call that I had to take. So I checked my result at 10:15, which was 30 minutes after administering it, and I have a negative. I'm going to try and see if I can get the light. I'm just not really into colour videos at the moment, but I don't know if I can get... Oh, there we go. So you can see my result, got a negative. So the negative is when the line is on the C. If you have a line on the T, it's a positive. And also with these testing kits, you get a guideline, and it will tell you about a void test as well, in which case you'd need to do another one. But whilst I'm talking about tests, so I know there's some talk about removing, and I don't know whether it will happen, about removing the PCRs. Now, these are great, they're accessible, but they're not ever going to be as accurate as a PCR. Also, if we think about the fact that like Omicron's come along and it's showing up earlier in the throat than it is the nasal passage, we know COVID's sole focus is to survive. It's incredibly good at it. Viruses are. So we know it will mutate, and we know that there will be changes. So I just think it's really important, particularly for care and NHS, that we do have access to PCR testing. So I'm really hoping that that doesn't get removed from our side. I don't know if it was just about the general public. I mean, I don't know. But I do really think LFDs and PCRs are really important. Working in the industry and being involved in different groups, having contacts in my home area with my GP, I am hearing a lot of people getting a negative LFD, but a positive PCR when those tests were performed at the same time. So it just goes to show that sometimes it's not picking up on these. So yeah, so I'm now going to be registering my test, and I'm negative, which is amazing. I do take a lot of precautions, so I'm relieved and pleased to see that. And I'm living at my business. I'm very much reducing risk. So yeah, I really hope our government knows how to test properly at this point. It's mind-blowing that you might not. I don't understand why a care minister has been around people and been informed of a result. You should know your own result. That's the point. But you know, under CQC, we have certain categories where we are looked at and monitored. So one of them is well led, one of them is safe. And I just think if we were to just look at those categories and effective under our government, you're not leading well. You're not safe. So I know it's a ridiculous thing to say in some sense, but in another, I just find it disappointing that CQC don't monitor the government, really. I'd love to see that CQC report. I'd love to read the well-led section. I think it would need massive amounts of improvement. So yeah, so anyone in government that's LFDing and doesn't know how to do the tests, hopefully you now know how to do an LFD. It's the same process for a PCR, except you're posting that off to a lab. And yeah, that's my video for today. Have a good day.